Hello, everybody. Welcome to This Day. It is Saturday, November 21st. Of course, there's no meetings on Saturdays, so we don't have any to tell you about. But on our show today, we have a couple of really great segments. We have one with Memorial Care, which is Dr. True McMahon, and then Suzanne Platt, who is a nurse navigator. And they're going to talk to us a little about a variety of different things that go on in the hospital and how stuff works with checking you in and getting you through the process. Then we also have the Laguna Woods Foundation with Joel Goldstein, who's going to tell us all about that organization as well as what they're doing for fundraising and why Joel is involved. But before we get to those segments, let's go ahead and give you our COVID resources for COVID-19. You can go to covid19.ca.gov. You can go to ochealthinfo.com, and then you can call their hotline, which is 714-834-2000. Or you could go to our website, lagunawoodsvillagealerts.com. And of course, you could always email us any questions or concerns to info@lagunawoodsvillage.com. Now, our weather this weekend is looking quite lovely. No clouds to be seen for the most part. We might have a little bit of partly cloudy in the morning. On Saturday, 70-53, Sunday, 71-51, and then Monday, 69-50. So we are looking at a very pleasant weekend. If you are traveling this weekend, you can go to the beaches, which is 68-53, Mammoth 50 with an overnight of 17, and there is snow. Big Bear 57-27, and Palm Springs is a nice 85-60, where I should have gone this weekend. Okay, and then our sunrise this morning was 6:29, and our sunset will be at 4:45. Now, I keep coming up with all these different ideas for desserts. So this one's called Apple Sundaes with Caramel Cider Sauce. And the white, of course, is a thing of ice cream, so you can enjoy that. And that is from marthastewart.com. So I don't know how hard it's going to be, but you might as well check it out anyway. If you have an idea for a dessert, just email it to us here at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, well, when we come back, we are going to have Memorial Care, so stay tuned.
At the Memorial Care Breast Center, Saddleback, you will always find a friendly face to guide you through your annual mammogram visit. Our staff, dedicated subspecialist breast radiologists, knowledge, and innovative technology await your visit to our center. With the Laguna Woods shuttle service right at our sidewalk, this convenient location offers you quick access for your appointment. You can expect nothing but the best for all your breast health needs at Memorial Care Breast Center, Saddleback.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by True McMahon as well as Suzanne Platt, who are here from different resources and different divisions of Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center. Well, thank you both for joining me. How are you today?
Well, thank you.
Very good, thank you.
So you're both from different areas. Now, True, you're with emergency medicine, and Suzanne, you're a palliative care nurse navigator. So what I'd love to do is I'd love to just sort of give a brief background on each of you and how you play different roles in the hospital. So True, I'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about your job.
Well, yes, I am originally emergency medicine. I'm board certified in emergency medicine, and I've been practicing for 18 years in the emergency department as an attending physician. However, in the past 5 years, I've been able to branch out and join the palliative and hospice services, and that's how I came to Memorial Care. And I've been with Memorial Care doing palliative and hospice for the past 2 years.
Okay, and so just a quick comparison. How does it differ? I mean, I know, of course, it may be more of an elderly situation, but ER versus this, are you a little more relaxed, not quite as crazy?
It's definitely one of the perks of doing palliative and hospice medicine. The focus is one person, one family, one sphere of life at a time, rather than handling 5, 6, 7, 20 cases at a time. So it is definitely a different way of doing it.
Oh, yeah, and you can really get to know your patient probably a whole lot better. So that's awesome. All right, Suzanne, so you have been a palliative care nurse navigator for how long?
I've been in palliative care medicine for 15 years.
Wow.
I actually graduated from England with my nursing degree and have traveled to different countries. I worked in cardiac intensive care for many years prior to coming into palliative care. So I've done home health care as well. So varied experience, really.
So, give me an idea, what is the difference between palliative care and hospice?
So I'll take that. There's actually a few differences, but the most important difference is the timing. So palliative care can occur along the entire spectrum of caring for you whenever you have a diagnosis that is severely destabilizing or just a very big diagnosis such as cancer. I mean, that is definitely life destabilizing. So palliative care can be started right then at the beginning of that diagnosis. Palliative care can also go on for many, many years, and it can go on into hospice and be a part of hospice care. So it can be years of care or it can be months of care, whereas hospice is mostly focused on the last 6 months of care. So it's mostly timing, but palliative care and hospice also have different focuses. So with palliative care, you're focused on getting the patient as functional as possible. You communicate to all the different specialists that's involved in the patient care. You talk about the goals of care all along the way. You manage the symptoms. And palliative care can be quite a resource for patients who get somewhat derailed from life. Suddenly you have to focus on disease. Palliative care brings you back to the focus of taking care of life in general. Hospice care focuses on intensive treatment of intense symptoms that can come at the end of your life and the severity of disease, and there's no longer a cure possible. So it's like taking an intensive care service from the emergency department or the hospital and bringing it home. So hospice is intensive care for your symptoms and disease at the last 6 months, but this time in your home or in your space of living, would be a skilled nurse facility or a board and care.
So let's go back to what you said originally about palliative care. So it's when you've been derailed. So how does it differ from rehabilitation?
So palliative care is much more about communication and symptom management. Rehabilitation focuses on just getting that part of the dysfunction back to function. And palliative care can be much more an arm that surrounds all the different resources, whether it be a specialist in rehabilitation and then a specialist in heart. When you have a heart attack, for example, you'll need a rehabilitation specialist to help you become functional again and strong again, but you'll need a cardiologist to manage all the different medication to make your heart strong again. Palliative care can be the connection between your primary doctor, the cardiologist, and the rehabilitation specialist, just to keep the goals of care aligned and keep all the links together.
Suzanne, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Dr. McMahon. It's a multidisciplinary team approach. We do collaborate with not only the primary care physician, but other specialists as well. Our goal is to have that communication line open so we can best serve the patient and their families and support them through their disease process. So we work very well as a team, and Dr. McMahon and I oversee the palliative care program. It's a team approach.
So, Dr. McMahon, you kind of already mentioned, at what point you would transition from palliative care to hospice based on timing and maybe whatever is going on with them, whatever their ailment is. One thing I did want to touch on, though, is hospice care, because I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand what hospice care means and what it entails and how long they can use it for. Because I have heard that, yes, sometimes 6 months, but sometimes it could go on much longer. So Suzanne, can you touch on hospice care in the home as well as in the hospital?
Yes, so we see patients primarily in their home environment. I mean, that's a place of comfort, that's a place of family. Patients like to be surrounded by their own things and be with their loved ones. Mm-hmm. So primarily hospice care is managed in the home, but we also, as registered nurses, go out to patients in the community, in boarding care facilities, in skilled nursing facilities. And as Dr. McMahon mentioned, sometimes we have patients in the hospital receiving hospice level of care. But I think for most people in the community, the place would be home. Okay. We focus on quality of life and providing that level, not only to the patient, but to the families to provide them support as well.
So when it comes to hospice care, what is different in terms of your actual care for that individual?
So the care for hospice, when patients go on to hospice, the physician has to certify that they think the patient may have 6 months or less. And typically with hospice, we provide a registered nurse to go into the home. We also provide a social worker. So the registered nurse would focus on disease management, pain symptom management, home safety, medication, managing some of those symptoms related to quality of life, as well as providing support to the patient and family. They look at advanced directives, the pulse, caregiver resources, providing emotional, psychosocial support to the family. For hospice care too, we have a wonderful volunteer program that could go into the home to provide some respite care, to sit with the family, maybe engage in activities, read to the patient. We also provide, so we have the volunteers, the social worker, the registered nurse, and we have pastoral services too. We have a pastoral counselor that can go into the home to provide spiritual support to the patient and family. So again, it's a team approach. Not all patients want all of those things, so we individualize the program to meet the best needs for the patient and family.
Okay. Now, Dr. McMahon, do you generally go out in the field, or are you more of a kind of an in-house person?
For the palliative service, I am the interdisciplinary team medicine expert. So okay. I stay mostly with teamwork there. But for hospice patients, I do home visits when the condition is complex and they need a physician to come and discuss all the options and all the care that they're receiving and why and how, and a lot of explanations and reviewing of medications and making sure that their goals of care are being met.
Do you think both of you could answer this in whichever way you see fit? Do you feel that people resist hospice care and they're like, no, I don't need it? And do they do that? And why do you think they do that?
May I go first, Suzanne? And I know you have some good answers too, but definitely, I think people resist because they have this misconception that hospice means giving up. And that's the very last thing hospice is actually giving more hope to a better quality of life. And sometimes, and that is why hospice sometimes is more than 6 months, sometimes providing the best palliative and hospice care in the home, in the community setting, actually sets them up for success, and their symptoms improve and their length of life improves.
Okay. Suzanne?
I definitely agree with Dr. McMahon. I think sometimes it's the fear of the unknown. They don't know what to expect. sort of a lack of education about what a hospice is and what the team approach that we put comfortable at home, not going back to the emergency room or the hospital. But I think it's the fear of the unknown and sort of education. You know, we need to educate the community about the goals of hospice and what we can provide as a team for the benefits of the patient, but also for the family as well.
Right. And let's talk about those resources, because I know that Saddleback Hospital has lots of them. And so if someone was curious as to what the difference would be of the palliative care versus hospice, where should they go?
Well, they can certainly go online to WellList, and I've actually got a brochure here too, and I can give you the number. The telephone number to call would be 855-935-5478. This is a great resource for patients and families out in the community. Or they can also call our intake line, Lisa. We could certainly provide them with information, pamphlets, resources. We can even go out and do an evaluation in the home setting to see if the patient meets the criteria for palliative care and hospice. Our direct number is 949-452-3008. So I'd be more than happy to talk to families or patients in the community to discuss palliative care and hospice care.
That's great. Well, I really appreciate both of you visiting with me today to help explain the difference and to help people not be afraid to ask about it, because it is probably one of those white elephants in the room that you just don't, you don't want to talk about, but you better talk about it, because like you said, you want to provide the utmost best care for that individual so they can have some success. So thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
Hate everything.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. And we'll be right back after this.
To help stop the coronavirus, the CDC recommends to avoid contact with people who are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. Stay home when you are sick, except to get medical care. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. For more information, contact the CDC. A message from Village Management Services.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Joel Goldstein. And yes, you heard his name right. He has been one sending us some great photos over the last couple of months. But today he is here on behalf of the Laguna Woods Foundation. Well, Joel, thank you for joining us today.
I'm glad you're having us on. I'd like to talk about the foundation. I think it's a wonderful organization that we have here in the village.
Yes, it really is. So by all means, tell us what the foundation is.
The foundation, which should not be confused with the Golden Rain Foundation, has nothing to do with them, is a 501c3 charity. The slogan is Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and we collect money from village residents and disperse it via the Social Services Department to villagers who have a temporary financial need of some kind.
Mm-hmm. And yes, and social services, I understand, you know, the way it operates is they receive the money and whoever needs it is confidential, you know, that type of thing. How do you usually do your fundraising?
Well, we have an appeal several times a year. There'll be one around Thanksgiving time, so this is a good time for this program to air. I hope people will donate. And we have a website where people can make donations, foundation of lagunawoodsvillage.org.
Okay.
And we also get club donations, which are very nice, very generous sometimes. And people sometimes remember us in their estates, and that's very useful and very very helpful. We have a reserve fund which we call on in times of emergencies. Originally it was, I think, for flood problems in the village, but because of the pandemic we were able to use that fund to provide masks to anybody in the village who wanted them. They were passed out at Clubhouse 5 parking lot, and provide extraordinary need for people that are affected in one way or another by the pandemic. Again, we don't do this directly. People who need help should contact the Social Services Department, the phone number of which is 597-4267-949. They are a staff of trained social workers, and they will discuss with you what your needs are, and they know all the various programs that are available for residents and hook you up with resources.
Right. Right. And so what assistance is available, just to give an idea of how they can help people?
Well, there are grocery cards. There are aid for people with hearing and vision problems. There is transportation assistance. We also support South County Outreach, which is the major food bank in the southern part of the county, and also provide transportation in some cases to people to go to the food bank. And there's any kind of a human need. We don't pay the regular fees of the village, and we don't provide a permanent support, but we do provide temporary support for people who need it. We've funded a number of different interesting programs. We had fall prevention classes because the major type of accident in the village are people falling down. And we have provided to the village library resources for people that are vision impaired. So we have provided machines and talking books and so on. And those are available to actually anybody in the village.
Okay. Well, those are some great services. And unfortunately, many of our community residents do need those types of services. So let me ask you something. How long have you been with the foundation?
I've been on about 3 years, and I'm very pleased to serve. I find it a very good organization, very well run. Everybody on the board is a volunteer.
Right.
So none of your donation is going to support the board members.
Right. And what drew you to help that organization?
Well, I was asked, and I found out a little bit about what the foundation does, and I have a background in social psychology, and I know something about the kinds of problems that people have when they have financial difficulty, and I thought I could be helpful. They made me the technology officer, so I maintain the website, which I think is a very good one, and the Facebook page, and the data systems for keeping track of donations and so on.
Oh, well, that's great. And that's a lot of responsibility. So they chose the right person for that, I think.
Thank you.
Well, you've been very great. I mean, you've pretty much answered all of the questions. Is there anything else that I may have forgotten?
Well, I just want to remind people, if you need help, contact social services at 597-4267. And if you want to donate to help the foundation carry out its mission, please go to our website, foundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org, and you can donate on the website either by PayPal or credit card, or respond to the the U.S. mail appeal that you'll get, and think about us when you're doing your charity donations. We're coming up to the end of the year. Many people do charity at that time. Right. And know that your money will only go to help villagers. This charity is it's by villagers, for villagers. That's why our slogan is neighbors helping neighbors. And you will be acknowledged. And all of the help that social services hooks you up with is anonymous. We don't know, and we never have any direct contact with people who receive aid, although we do get very nice thank you cards that are sent to the foundation, and we appreciate those. But it's something that I think we can all be proud of here in the village. It does a good job, and I'm very glad to be on the board and help its cause.
That's great. Well, Joel, thank you so much for sharing the information. And it is timely, as you said, because we're coming up on the holidays. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Glad to do it.
All right. And we'll be right back after this.
Are you or someone you know facing financial challenges from unexpected emergency expenses? The foundation of Laguna Woods Village can provide the temporary help you need. Meals on Wheels, adult day services, dental services, medical alert services, and ambulance contracts. Contact the Village Social Services at 949-597-4267 to see if you qualify. Neighbors helping neighbors. The mission of the foundation of Laguna Woods Village.
Our movie for today is Groundhog Day, and super funny with Bill Murray, and it's brought to you by the City of Hope. And it's about a cynical TV weatherman who finds himself reliving the same day over and over again when he goes on location to this small town of Punxsutawney. See, I can't even pronounce it right, to film a report about their annual Groundhog Day. His predicament drives him to distraction until he sees a way of turning the situation to his advantage. All right, you can see that today at 3 p.m. with subtitles and then 6 p.m. without subtitles. And then just a couple of announcements today. Don't forget that at 2 p.m. we have the Johnny Carson Show 2020 edition brought to you by the Theater Guild, and you must have a ticket. So if you haven't gotten it already, go to ActiveNet, and it's $5 per vehicle. And then you still have time to participate in the rummage sale. You can drive by and go take a look at some of their items that they have. They will be monitoring people there as to who goes in and how many people, and that is until noon today. Now, just to give you an idea of some of our Thanksgiving holiday hours, there is no bus service on Thanksgiving Day. Plan a Ride service is open to the village residents from 8 to 4. The last pickup is at 3:30, but you do want to make a phone call to 949-597-4659 to make a reservation for pickup. Okay, our weather today and the next couple of days is really nice. We are only looking at a high today in the 70s with an overnight of 53. Tomorrow, 71, 51, and then Monday, 69, 50. So get outside and enjoy some lovely weather and some fresh air. It should be lovely all weekend. All right, have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you again on Monday at 9 a.m. Stay healthy. We'll see you again on Monday. Bye-bye.